Speaking of sounding good, we got people who think we sound good, and they decided to write in questions for us in a segment we like to call Listener Questions. Now, this week, we get the triumphant return of Ron B., my friend, your friend. We know him and we love him, and he had a question about co-op games. He writes in, I finally got around to playing It Takes Two with my oldest son. I got it for his birthday, and we've been playing it all weekend. We both love it. Love to hear that, by the way. That game is amazing. Derek and I had a great time. I feel like we really bonded during that game. I feel closer to him, and I think we're going to save our marriage because of it, so that's good.
Right.
I know about A Way Out. I'll likely pick it up soon, he says. So besides A Way Out, I'm wondering, is there any other games like It Takes Two that are good that you or Derek could recommend? So I'll include you in on this question, of course, Josh. And I'll ask you first. I know we were kind of lightly discussing this earlier as a topic that we were going to bring up. Did you think of any co-op games that either a father and son can play, or just good co-op games in general?
I've actually got a few that I've had time to think about it. The first co-op game my son really played with me was Minecraft Dungeons. That was a really fun game. That it was the control style was easy enough for him to understand, but for a more experienced player, it was a fun grind. So that was one that I really liked. Sackboy for the PS5 is another really fun game that's co-op with a partner, and you can do it online too. But the one that's my favorite, but is a bit more difficult for less experienced players, is Overcooked 2.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, it's
so
great.
much fun
so
and
hard.
stressful at the same time. My wife literally was like, "Nope, not playing this. This is too much. I'm getting stressed out." Those three games are the ones that came out that popped up in my head because I had a lot of fun with those. And I don't play a ton of multiplayer games, but these ones stood out.
Yeah, no, those are solid recommendations. And I agree with you. Overcooked might be much for a kid, but every kid's different, and his kid's a little older. Maybe they might get the hang of it. What about you, Derek? You think of any co-op games to recommend?
The only co-op game I can really think of is, and this just depends on what he allows his son to play, but Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. Like, I had such a blast playing that.
No, that would work. That's all pixely. It's not like real.
Yeah, I mean, you know
can do fatalities, but you have to seek them out. So I don't know
exactly. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks is it's so fun, and it's got jank to it. I didn't know it did until I replayed it with Michael.
It's got a little jank to it. You're right.
But yeah, it's a good, really fun time. There's lots of laughs to be had when you're missing jumps and just accidentally hitting your co-op partner. But yeah, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, like, I really, really want another one of those.
Yeah, always be plugging on MC Paper Stacks Plays on YouTube. You can see the episode where Derek and I played that game together. So check it out if you're curious about it. I had a few games, so I'd recommend the Lego series. If you haven't already played these with your kid, the Lego games, most of them feature co-op. You know, the original Star Wars trilogy, Indiana Jones, Batman. A lot of kids like the Batman series. You got Marvel's on there. There are so many properties that you like. Even Pirates of the Caribbean, I think. Harry Potter.
Yeah, they've got one. Harry Potter.
Yeah. And they're great.
Jurassic Park.
Yep. There's light puzzle solving, nothing that you can't handle or have your kid help you with. The combat is pretty simple, but the pantomiming of all the movies, especially if you've seen the movies, is really great. I don't like how they started just inserting the voice acting from the movies. I liked it so much more when they were pantomiming the movie and referencing it, like in the original Lego games. I thought that worked.
Yeah, they weren't
better
even.
for
There
me.
wasn't even any spoken dialogue, was there, in the early ones?
No, it was just all kind of tongue-in-cheek, wink, look at us, kind of pantomiming the movie that you already seen. And I love that. So
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, I wish I'd go back to that, to be honest. But the newer trailer that we saw for the Skywalker saga, which is all 9 of the films in Lego form, it seems like they kind of redid some scenes and added some dialogue or made some changes to try to get some of that spirit back, even though it has spoken dialogue. So, there's a couple of beat-em-ups I think would be good. Castle Crashers I think is great and would be fun to play with your kid. Streets of Rage 4. Derek and I also played that recently, and I have an episode on that on Monday Night Brawlers and MC Paper Stacks Plays. It's really fun. So beat-em-ups are always simple and really fun to play with a friend. Stardew Valley, if people don't realize, Stardew Valley added a co-op mode not too long ago, and that is a very chill game, but it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of different stuff you can do. You can go dungeon crawling in that game to get supplies. You can, of course, farm. You can do a lot of different activities. You can go fishing. and it might be kind of a cool, calm way to like bond and build a farm together. I think that would be really neat, so something to look into. And the last one, and again, to mirror Derek's sentiment, I don't know if the violence is going to be an issue or not, but again, use your discretion depending on how old your kid is. Resident Evil Revelations 2, I think, is really great as a co-op, especially with a less experienced gamer, because the second player typically doesn't engage in combat. The second player is either going to be Moira Burton, or I can't remember the little girl's name that plays with Barry Burton, but either of them either have powers like shining a flashlight or pointing where monsters are at, or solving, puzzles where you need like a smaller person or a second person. And then the main character, either Claire Redfield or Barry Burton, are the ones that kind of handle most of the combat. So I think that that's kind of a cool game. I've actually, my wife, she's not very good at video games. Speaking of Overcooked, it almost broke us. She was like, I can't. I'm like, fair enough. But she was able to hold her own for quite a while we were playing Resident Evil Revelations 2. And I had a lot of fun playing that with her. She screamed so loud I couldn't use any of the footage that we had, unfortunately, because I was recording it, and she just like broke the mic, which was cute. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm glad that she played that with me. So those are recommendations that I would make.
Awesome.
Yeah, It Takes Two sets a high bar. That was actually a really great game.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Like, you started at the top. It's all downhill from here, Ron.
Yeah.
One more I just thought of at the top of my head. It's a little expensive. Hopefully they put it on sale soon. Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance just got re-released on consoles from the old PS2 days. That's a really good co-op game that you can play, and it's a simple dungeon crawler, but it's still a lot of fun. I'd recommend that one as well.